What's up, folks? I'm Nick with Rubber Quad Squad, and today I'm gonna piss some people off. So, lately, everybody's been talking about the Taranis, wow, this thing's bumpy, and the M9 gimbal upgrade. Now, I have a Taranis, and personally, I don't like it. I don't fly with it for a couple of reasons. The first one being, all my stuff is already Spektrum, and I refuse to go reinvest in a bunch of receivers and etc. And second off, I don't like the way it feels. I don't know. It's just me, whatever. It feels like a toy. Gimbal feels not bad. Switch position's good. It has all the channels. I don't know. It doesn't feel intuitive. I don't like it. Now, I have a DX8. I bought this back in 2012, maybe 13, from a guy secondhand who was a heavy smoker, so this thing reeked of cigarette smoke. But I got a hell of a deal on it, and I've been flying with this literally almost every other day since I got it. Now, I don't know about gimbal feel. Everybody claims, oh, this feels good, this feels bad. But of all the remotes I've felt, I've maybe felt two, and it was a FlySky IA6 and a Taranis IG6, I believe it was, that just felt like crap, and it's because they were mushy. Now, the DX8 gimbals, you know, Spektrum gimbals are nice, they feel good. You can kind of hear. Mine's getting a little crusty, so it was time to clean them out anyway. But in true fashion of me being me, I like to have things that are different. So I ordered up the M9 Hall effect sensor gimbals. Now, for those who don't know, a standard gimbal uses what's called a potentiometer. It's in here. You can see the shaft connects to the bearing, connects to the potentiometer. And what it does is wipes basically a trace against another electrical trace and varies the resistance to that signal wire right here, and then it tells it the position, more or less being the location of the stick. Hall effect sensors, on the other hand, use it's a magnet basically, and it detects the position of the stick via that magnet, and then does the same thing. It outputs a different electrical signal based upon the position of the stick. Now, again, between the Taranis, between the Spektrum, between all these, I really don't feel a whole lot of difference in the gimbals, but I do feel a lot of difference in the springs. Now, on the Taranis, fairly light. You can see it's got a lot of bounce to it. On the Spektrum's, kind of the same thing. You know, a little bit heavier, not too bad. On these things, I swear this is a freaking spring-loaded brick. So, fit and finish. This is obviously not made for this, but you can see it fits just fine. There's no problems with fitment. Bolted up to the same 4 bolt holes, no problems. And before everybody loses their mind and panties in a bunch, this thing was modded before I got it. Horizon Hobby would not touch it, so there's no point in talking to me about a bad warranty. Now, things I've noticed. Spektrum, if you sit this thing upright, this stays. Like I'm shaking it, it doesn't go down. This thing, put it up, and you see it slowly walking down. I've tightened this as tight as I can get it. I can't get it to go back. There are gaps in the gimbals. You can see them right here and right in here. So dust will be a problem, but again, this is an old radio and it's due for an overhaul anyway. You can actually see it's starting to rust or corrode. I did some salt water flying around the lake, or not the lake, Corpus Christi, whatever. As far as wiring goes, you can see the back of the Spektrum here. They follow the same wiring standard as servos. So red is positive, black is negative, yellow is signal, and then red positive, black negative, white is signal. And I actually have the original plug. It looked like this. So brown is negative, red is positive, orange is signal. The only thing you have to watch out for is position, and these literally position the exact same as the M9s, with the vertical one being the rudder position, or aileron, and the side one being the throttle or elevators. So cut them, solder them together, no problem, bolts right in. The throttle is upside down. The way that this one fit in here, this potentiometer was on the outside, and this was sat real flat. You can see these stick out real far, so it was able to mount. On the new ones, there's a flat piece right here, so you have to mount it this way, and in doing so, you basically have to reverse the throttle. That's the only downside I found. Now, again, I don't feel any difference between remote sticks that are of decent quality. And since I don't believe that anybody's opinion should really dictate what you buy or use, I went ahead and pulled the black box readings from several different Spektrum stick flights and a few different M9 gimbal flights. Now, I've been flying these for, it's been about 5 or 6 battery packs now. And I've noticed that if you go to the Spektrum one, you'll see smooth traces of input on the black box, and I'll post them here or there, wherever. But you see where it does like a zigzag stair step. And what that is the position getting kind of lost. So I compared it to the M9s, and there's definitely a lot less with the M9s, but it's still there. So as far as positioning goes, I mean, this is really sensitive. These are really sensitive to inputs, so there is a lot of data to read. However, that stair-stepping motion is essentially the signal either cutting and falling out or just not getting correct input. Now, you go into like Betaflight and look at the receiver tab, you can set this thing anywhere and it stays locked to a value. So I give it credit with that. As far as these gimbals go, should you do it? I'm not going to tell you to. I like the idea of the magnetic sensor. I don't know, I just kind of played with it and wanted something different. Is there a downside? Absolutely not. I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with this. You open it up, 6 screws on the back, pull the 4 off the front, pull out the gimbal, snip the wires, stick the new gimbal in, solder up the new connections, and go to your main menu here. Run down to System Settings, go to Next, go to Next, go to Next, and then right here, all you have to do is a new gimbal calibration. Boom, boom, center the sticks, and voila. That's it, ready to go. So, it is possible. It is doable. I've had this thing for years, and it works great, and it's still working great. New sticks are not bad at all. So, if you're curious about it works, or you broke a gimbal, or whatever, I don't care. You've got multi-reasons, but this thing works, and I like it.